Hello, welcome to the Wasting Time podcast. I'm here with Chris, and we are joined by a very special guest, Mr. Adam Valen. It is Valen, isn't it? Because
Yes,
we had this discussion last year.
Yeah, it's. I always tell people it's Valentine minus the time. So never,
I got it right.
come February, you can't forget me.
Because we were talking about you in one of these intros a few months back, and we were like, he's our friend, but we don't know if it's Valen or Valen because it's never come up in conversation. So it's good to have that established.
It's okay. I let people roll with it, but Valen forever. I just, it's tomato. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, well, I guess it's a good place to start. A good place to start would be to tell us kind of who you are, and obviously we know you from Four Chord Festival, but yeah, I don't know if you want to kind of just intro yourself and your role within Four Chord.
Yeah. So my day to day is with a concert promoter called Russo Entertainment, where I'm the marketing director there, and we're one of the partners with Four Chord Music Festival. So over the last 6 years, I've been working with the festival team as the marketing director for the festival. Helping with all avenues from media to ad strategy to just helping build an overall experience with the festival. And it's been, just such a joy to get to work with you guys over this year and last, and just continuing to build this thing out to what it is just been really cool is seeing it on the marketing side.
Nice. It's definitely been a joy from our side. And obviously this year is a huge year, as anyone who's been following this knows. But for yourself in particular, like who are you looking forward to? I know you're going to be busy on the festival days, but if on those moments that you get to watch bits of sets, like who's high up the list for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, when I found out we were getting set your goals on this, I was so stoked. This Mutiny and This Will Be the Death of Us are two of my favorite records. But also, it's just I'm stoked to see State Champs come back. Those guys are just such an energy. The obvious elephant in the room is Blink-182. It's one that we've been gunning for a while, and I think I've seen them 3 times now, and they just continue to blow me away with how good they are. But also, somehow Say Anything is one that's slipped by me for a really long time that I've never seen, and I've just been Is a Real Boy is such a good record, and just super stoked to see Bemis and them doing their thing.
And I guess you've obviously been working with the festival. How many years have you been on Four Chord? Like, how long's that partnership been
So I think we came on in year 6. It was the year, I believe, that we had Simple Plan close out the festival. It was supposed to be The Offspring and Simple Plan, but it ended up being just Simple Plan closing out the night.
And I guess we know Rishi does a lot of the bookings. I mean, it's his baby, but
yeah.
I mean, what would be your dream booking for a future Four Chord if you were at the helm? What would be the one band you'd love to book?
Man, that is I feel like I was just talking about this, and that's such a good question. I grew up like kind of in like an era outside of like the drive-through records era, and so like I'm a little on the newer man. I'm 32, and so like a lot of these bands, I think like I'm somewhere like in between like some of these bands in the festival. I keep wanting to go back to like a Paramore is something like I grew up on that a ton, and that was always like kind of a big would be a big get for us, and one that I'd be super stoked. I don't hopefully they're still playing. They're still playing, and I'm trying to think of like others, because I feel like every time we booked it, I mean, actually I take that back. The one we've had him in both iterations except for the one that I really want to see, but Jack's Mannequin. More I think about it, because we've had Andrew McMahon, we've had Something Corporate, but we've never had Jack's Mannequin, and that was like really the first band that like catapulted me into like a lot of this world, and it's how I met my best friend. It's gotten me through relationships. It's gotten me through like good and bad times. So like Jack's Mannequin is probably like, if we can get that, it'd be pretty.
Is he still doing stuff as Jack's Mannequin? Is he still doing bits?
Yeah, I actually just saw him in Pittsburgh recently. I can't remember. He was doing kind of like I wouldn't say a Taylor Swift era style, but they were kind of going through like the entire catalog, which was really cool. But my dream would be like an Everything in Transit album play from Jack's Mannequin would just, that record means so much to me.
I was just listening to Dark Blue this morning. Actually, it came on a random playlist. Yeah, bit of a tune.
Funny thing between like my wife and I is like we'll constantly like find ourselves saying like Dark Blue throughout the day.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why it's just ended up being like an inside joke.
So like the festival is obviously very good at showcasing kind of local Pittsburgh artists as well, obviously being a Pittsburgh-based festival.
Yeah.
What current Pittsburgh artists would you recommend at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, I look, one of the bands that's on the festival, Mallory Run, I've always been, such a big fan of. And obviously like the Punchline guys mean a ton to the scene here in Pittsburgh and what they've kind of done for that style of music. And I'm trying to think like Old Neon guys are doing great stuff there.
Yeah.
There's also heading north is a great band. Find Ethel is another great one from Pittsburgh. There's just such a groundswell of this pop punk energy that's coming out of Pittsburgh. So I really think that it's a town not to sleep on for something like that. Obviously, there's the guys in Eternal Boy as well, who've been doing their thing for a decade plus. So there's just such a wealth of pop punk here in Pittsburgh. But definitely starting, on some of those bands.
How many we're just like 3-4 weeks out now from festival weekend? What
3.5?
What 3.5? There you go. What gives you nightmares and fears like over there? What's your biggest fears going into festival weekend?
I think, man, that everything keeps me up at night when I think about that. I mean, it's funny, and this isn't like a it's not a cursed festival by any means, but it's just there's always something that happens every year, whether it's last year was an unsustainable heat wave that came through. The year before that was a tornado. And I think honestly, like it's kind of like mellowed me out a little bit more, so that it's like you've seen like kind of the worst of the worst that can happen. So in terms of like festival mode, but it's always just the making sure that you checked every box before you go into a festival weekend, making sure that all of our media folks are squared away, making sure that our team backstage has everything that they need, making sure that we're doing everything that we can to like communicate out to our people that are coming to the festival. Right. Because there's, we're expecting way more this year than we've ever had. And they're coming from all across the world. So, making sure that they take in everything that they can while they're in town. And there's just so many different things that run through. Like, are our digital ads running, and how are they performing? Or like, is the radio or do we have our radio ads running? So like, there's always so many things that are kind of running through my brain on the marketing side.
Yeah.
Making sure our sponsors are, doing okay. And so it's just kind of everything and anything. It's just putting out, seeing what fires in front of you and then seeing if you need to put it out versus going to the next one.
On today's episode, we've got a pretty big hitter from the festival who we talked to as a sort of pre-interview. But before we get into that, just real quick question to both of you. Is there any new music in general that's come across your radar in the last couple of weeks? I guess first question to you, Adam, firstly, as the guest in this intro.
Yeah.
Have you got time for new music right now?
I know. I always try to. And I'm always like asking folks like, hey, what are you listening to? Because my issue, and I'm going to go into this here, is like I'm always just such like a cyclical person. Like I need to break the habit of getting out of the old stuff. So my answer is going to be old stuff, and it's honestly like a lot of stuff that I'm like sometimes I'm like 6 months behind the ball. But I don't know. I've had 4 Year Strong's Analysis Paralysis like on like constant repeat for some reason for the last like month and a half. Bill Murray's American Motorsports has just been like pumping through my speakers a ton. But I've also been like I've been really liking the new Hot Mulligan stuff that's been coming out. And then just like total like 180 is like I've been really rocking with Tyler the Creator's new album that he just like surprisingly dropped, the Don't Tap the Glass. Not pop punk at all, but I've just been really liking that a lot.
Yeah, we've got that Hot Mulligan album. Is it the whole album's not quite out yet? Is it? It's later this month. A couple of days.
So
time?
It's coming out on the 22nd, so depending on when you're listening to this, it's either almost out or it's out already.
Yeah, and they've got a UK tour as well, like just after Four Chord as well. I noticed from there.
Actually, another one I've been listening, the New Good Charlotte, it actually like kind of really is really surprising me.
Chris will be pleased if you've listened to that.
Rejects is such a good song.
Oh, Rejects is a fantastic song, and I think the record is. I think it's pretty. I don't know where I sit with it. I think it's pretty good. I really liked it first listen, but then the more I listened to it, I was like, I don't know how much staying power it has. I think it has some great songs on, but then I don't know how consistent it is. I don't know how you're feeling. Sorry, Adam, go on.
There's like some like Pittsburgh I mean, there's the Wiz Khalifa. I'm also like, anytime it's like a Pittsburgh thing, when you see like something Pittsburgh pop up, you're like, oh my God, I gotta support them. So like the Wiz, like the features on this are kind of crazy. The song with Wiz Khalifa like strikes me too, just the Pittsburgh connection.
Wiz Khalifa's Pittsburgh boy, is he?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay.
We went to so there's like the Taylor Alderdice crew. It's like Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller. I think Wiz was maybe like just like as he was graduating, I was coming into Alderdice, and then Mac was a year I guess ahead of me or behind me. However you put it.
Yeah, that Wiz Khalifa. So I think it's cool, but there's a song a couple of records ago called "Life Can't Get Much Better," where they're basically saying the same thing, and it's a very similar song. So if it hadn't been for the previous song, I would have enjoyed that song more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp as you though, Chris, on that Good Charlotte album. Like you say, I'm not sure it's got the staying power. I do like that track "Mean" that's on it.
Yeah, that's a good
bit
one.
of a slower song, but yeah, that's good. But the Burn Tapes new record just came out last week. Our UK band, Adam. I think that's a real solid album. It's one that I feel that it's just kind of I can listen to as an album end to end. Kind of got a real kind of Menzinger, kind of Red City Radio, kind of crossover vibe, like a bit poppier version. So yeah, I'm enjoying that one at the moment.
So you spent a lot of time with that. Yeah, they're kind of like old friends of the show. They might not have come across your radar, Adam. They're the kind of band, and I believe they've done it a few times. They Fest in Florida. They're very kind of in that scene. Super nice guys, old friends of ours. So it's great to see them putting another. I think it's their second full length. So that was really nice to see.
That's awesome, and that's why I'm doing this show, so I can get new recommendations off you guys.
There you go. There you go. Oh, and another quick. UK one for you, Adam. There's a singer called Sam Russo, who's also kind of like from the Fest scene. It's got a lot of ties with bands like Alkaline Trio and stuff, and I guess he was on Red Scare Records perhaps for a bit. But he's got a new album. It's really worth checking out. It's kind of has a sort of gaslight anthem, like a more obviously a British sounding sort of gaslight anthem.
He's supported on a lot of big tours, hasn't he, over the years? Like,
yeah, he has.
He's been on bills of good booking agent by the sounds of it.
Yeah. Gets out to the States a decent amount as well.
I've been enjoying this band called High Vis at the moment. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're like, I'm not sure they're up your street that much, Chris. They're kind of this Stone Rosy kind of Smiths with a bit of hardcore baked in. Like really interesting sound, like a sound that like I haven't heard before. I don't think you come by very often, like something that's really unique and new, like sounding. Yeah, so check them out.
Good recommendation.
High Vis. Talking about Four Chord people as well, I forgot to mention I saw the Keep Flying Boys last week in the northeast of England here. That was nice to catch those guys.
Yeah, Nick went last week, and me and Greg are going tomorrow night to our local show. But yeah, so Nick, it sounded like that was a good night.
Yeah. I mean, they're just great fun, and like they did a free show in Newcastle. It was a really warm, hot night as well. It was a Wednesday night, like so. There wasn't a huge amount of people came out for it, but they bring it regardless of like there being 5 people in the room or fucking 1,000 people in the room. They like they bring the energy, and I'm looking forward to seeing those boys at Four Chord tonight. I know they've got a good connection with you, and I guess Richie still manages them, doesn't he?
That's my understanding, and that's like the kind of stuff that I love, where it's like you have like a band like Keep Flying kind of kicking off the day and like really setting the tone, and it's like I hear that every year where it's like I try to go around as much as I can, like talk to people, I'm like, who are you looking forward to seeing? And like the amount of like people that are like, hey, I'm here to see like the first like handful of bands, and I hear Keep Flying like every year, like people are so stoked about it. It's like that to me is like the whole point of Four Chord is like, you're there you're not only there to like see your favorites, but you're there to discover new or, build something with a newer artist.
Yeah, they bring the energy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're gonna catch them for a little interview as well when you see them in London.
Absolutely, they're playing Kingston tomorrow night. Me and Greg will be taking the mics and the cameras with us, so we are planning to do some stuff with them. Absolutely, so looking forward to that. Actually, real quick before we get into the full episode today, also a shout out to Action Adventure, who friends of Four Chord, obviously played last year. They put out a single called URL yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
Again, done by Alan from 4 Years Strong. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Carrying on with the same sound.
Nice.
So everyone get on that. Okay, so that brings us to the main episode today. So we had the absolute privilege of talking to legends Jimmy Eat World. We were joined by Jim, Zach, and Tom from the band. They joined us from their hotel in Minneapolis while they were on tour with The Offspring and Newfound Glory. We talked all things Four Chord and all about their career. Here it is. What's Minneapolis like as a place? Is it I guess, at this point in your career you've been through these cities many times, I would have thought.
I personally think Minneapolis is great. At least yesterday the weather was really nice, but like it's a great downtown, it's a great city. I would imagine this is a really nice place to live, other than the freezing cold.
Yeah, it maybe come back in February and reassess, but
yeah.
I mean, it's got the hallmark for all the great downtowns. It's got all the major sports venues downtown. Walk to the baseball game, walk to the basketball game, walk to the football games.
Okay.
Everyone seems friendly. I went to a baseball game last night, 5-minute walk. It was amazing.
Are you all kind of still in Arizona, or are you dotted around? Like, what are you? Where are you? Where do you reside when you're not on the road?
Arizona is still the home base headquarters.
So you guys on tour with Offspring, Newfound Glory bands. I assume you've played with many times over the years. Is that good? Is that going well so far?
The tour is going very well. I think we've played with Newfound Glory and maybe the Offspring in like more in like one-off festival situations. Right.
Yeah.
Newfound Glory might have been on Warped Tour the same year we were on Warped
I think
Tour.
so, yeah.
Probably.
And then a super long time ago, a band that Tom and I were in before Jimmy Eat World opened up for Offspring.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the first time all of us have been on a tour together, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Do say hello to Cyrus for us, because he's been on the show a few times, so we know him a little bit. So
Cyrus is an awesome dude.
Yeah, he's the best. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess we wanted to talk about obviously our partnership with Four Chord. It's our second year there, and we'll be kind of the on-site press outlet, media outlet this year. You were there in 2022, Four Chord 8, I think it was. All Time Low, I think we're on the bill with you. Do you remember that experience? And I guess what can people expect from you this time around in September?
I remember it being a really fun end of summer, just hangout party. I mean, we like you said, it's been a couple of years since we've been there, so I don't know how it's progressed. But the year we did it was a lot of fun.
I mean, our friend Rishi, who runs it, is kind of just grown every year, because I think he started it about 11 years ago, and it was just in a venue in downtown Pittsburgh with the Wonder Years headlining, and it's kind of grown into this thing, which is really exciting to see. Looking at the lineup this year, is there anyone that you'll be interested to check out when you guys aren't playing?
I'm definitely looking forward to Blink-182. I'm a big Blink-182 fan. Hot Mulligan. I think we played with Hot Mulligan on the Fall Out Boy run, maybe, but they're really good. And it's the next day is actually really good too. Like there's a lot of really great bands.
Yeah.
Face to Face was a band that we opened up for in Tempe a few times, and they were like one of my favorite bands when we were first starting out.
Nice. You must have shared the stage with Blink a few times over the years as well. Is there any kind of favorite moments from over the years that you can recall with those guys?
The first thing that comes to mind is our last day on tour on the Pop Disaster tour with Blink-182 and Green Day, where they basically just had the most epic end of tour prank on us where it was just unrelenting. Like our entire set was just riddled by various interjections from all people in Blink-182 and Green Day too. Like ranging from like concussion bombs going off during quiet parts of songs to like dehydrated potato flakes wafting down from the rafters and people in costume running on stage with super soakers.
Glitter.
We're still picking out glitter from road cases to this day.
Yeah, 23 years later.
Yeah,
seriously.
It's nice because obviously there's been lots of links with Blink and you guys over the years. Like, you know, I remember in the late 90s, I think my introduction to you guys was like on the Blink website and Hopper's like listing you in his favorite bands or whatever. And then obviously you got the Trombino link or whatever. So it's cool that, you know, you guys are still friends after all these years.
Yeah, Blink-182 was a big help for getting the word out about our band early on. Yeah. And still today, actually.
I guess just thinking about kind of festivals, you know, we're kind of in full swing festival season now. Like if Jimmy Eat World were curating their own festival, kind of who would you guys kind of put headlining your bill, like a couple of bands? And I guess what else would you do with your festival that would make it special outside of just the music? What would be your selling points for a Jimmy Eat World curated festival?
We'd probably stack it with like friends bands that maybe wouldn't necessarily like make money in a festival sense, but it'd just be fun for us to hang out with and see.
Yeah, such as who?
Oh, I mean, we'd probably ask like, you know, groups
Promise
like
Ring if they got back together.
Oh, nice.
We definitely put it out to Promise Ring and No Knife and you know, groups like that we hung out with.
I'd probably insist on having my own like side stage for like my favorite new metal bands, like you know, Papa Roach and Limp Bizkit, maybe Evanescence. Like have like a group of really fucking rad bands like that, but like they have their one stage called the Zach stage, and then I would want to do that.
A side stage for Limp Bizkit
and a bunch of other rap bands, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like,
you know,
everyone would be at the side stage. No one would be at our main stage. It'd be
yeah, man. Maybe Disturbed would headline that stage. I don't know. It could be sick. It'd be pretty sick.
You cross paths with many of those bands throughout the 2000s?
Never. I think we did a radio show in Chicago, Disturbed headlined, and it was really funny because it was the first time I'd ever seen the thing, you know, like in backstages where bands put up a picture of the headlining band on the walls for security so that they wouldn't be bothered to wear laminates. So you have to the security have to basically guess and match your face to the face on the wall to let you in. And I just thought it was funny. That was the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's especially wacky when bands will do that at like something at like a 6-band festival.
Yeah.
With like a million people in their crew and like these guys don't wear laminates and it's always taken from like a promo shot, so it's like
okay.
Like some dude like, you know, looking all tough and like
it's really a thing that bands do, and it's like a power move, right? It's like we're so badass that we're so recognizable that like we don't need laminates, but it is actually shitty and it's unsafe. I just want to be on the record for that.
Yeah, I think it's hard to disagree with that, to be fair.
I guess what we probably want to move on to was just kind of potential for new Jimmy Eat World music. We've been hearing rumblings that they're working on new material, nothing formally announced. I don't know if you can give us any insight into terms of what's going on with you guys right now in terms of new music.
We're always working on new stuff, but I don't think we have enough that we could safely put into an album context yet.
Okay.
And we're still a little bit unsure about how we might want to operate in the future when it comes to like putting out albums. Like the music industry is the Wild West. And I think like fortunately for us, like we've amassed enough recording gear that we feel pretty confident we could record anytime we want with just the stuff that we've picked up over the years, and we feel pretty good about that. So we don't necessarily need a record label to make a record.
Yeah.
And you know, we feel that everything kind of stems from that. Like you make your choices on what kind of record is exciting for you to make, and then from that, like you'll be able to tell like who it makes sense to partner with and why. You know, maybe there's a label that specializes in something that you need, or there's a kind of partner that might offer something that you can't do just totally on your own. And it all, you know, it all stems from like, what's your album? You know, what's the music is going to dictate everything else, and we're still like in the process of gathering that.
What's you know, being at this stage in your career, you know, the band's been going what, 32 years, something like that. What was it like, kind of balancing family home life against being in, you know, arguably one of the biggest rock bands in the world? Like what at this stage of life, what's that balance like? And then my follow-up question to that is, do you see yourselves doing this in 10 years time? Because like we spent a bit of time with Mike Ness and Social Distortion a couple of summers ago, and he's like early 60s now, still plowing through with it. I mean, can you see a future like that for Jimmy Eat World possibly as well?
I think we'll do this as long as it's fun.
Okay.
You know, there's definitely you know, I think like the balance of being all in on any sort of pursuit is something you just got to deal with over time, because it's going to change over time, like what kind of other commitments are meaningful, important, or necessary. And I guess the biggest thing I would say is just it requires you to check in with yourself often.
Yeah.
Over, you know, and it, like how you rolled in your 20s is definitely not how you're going to roll in your 30s or your 40s, and I imagine your 50s or your 60s. Right. So you're going to have to constantly check in with yourself. But as far as like how long we do this, I mean, I still identify as like the 14-year-old metal kid. It doesn't fit in, you know, like it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'm like, oh, geez, I'm not that kid.
Yeah.
I better stretch out now. You know, but it's still fun, and I don't see. I mean, maybe we in that assessment, you need to scale it differently just to be sane. But
yeah,
I think, you know, I don't see us, you know, stopping entirely anytime soon.
I think right now in our shows, we're playing better than we ever have, you know, and so I think that's part of it. Is for us, it's like, yeah, we're older and we've been around a while, but I think we've had the experience, you know, over time. When you play the same songs, you know, over and over and over for 30 years, like you should be getting progressively better at doing it. And I think we are. And so I think it's one of the fun things is like playing some of the old tunes now is cool, because you feel like you're able to give it, you know, it's like what you know now as opposed to what you knew when you were 17, and then getting a chance to redo something and apply what you know now. And like, we get to kind of do that every night.
Yeah.
And it's satisfying. And I think we're, you know, from that standpoint, we've never played better live. And so, I think that's exciting for everyone, and that keeps us going. And, you know, it's certainly, you know, it's motivating to keep going and keep progressing.
I guess casting your mind kind of way back to those early days, was there a defining moment for you guys where you felt you were all in, and you know you could, you know, you were doing enough for it to become a full-time thing, and that was, you know, it was, you know, straight on from there. Was there a moment, or was it just kind of growth over time?
I think it just sort of you woke up one day and realized like, oh wait, this is all we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when you're younger, you never really, I mean, you want to, but you never really assume that you're going to get the opportunity to keep going. You're just sort of like taking everything in the moment, like you're getting away with it, and just enjoying it for what it is. I think that the it is sort of a big deal to flip the switch and say this is what we're doing now, because that means that all of a sudden it's a little bit more serious. Like you could lose it. You know what I mean? Like if there's a difference. There's a difference when you're getting away with something from this is ours and we can lose it. And I think like I don't know, maybe it wasn't even until like on the road, like touring for Bleed American, that I think we started feeling like, oh wait, we could actually just keep doing this.
Right.
Everything up until then was like we would work our jobs, our straight jobs, to like have the money to go on tour.
Of course,
but and we all wanted to keep doing it, but I mean it wasn't like a serious option.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I guess that was kind of the next question. If this hadn't become a thing, what do you think you guys would have ended up doing? What would have you been doing? Whether that was your day jobs at the time or other ambitions you might have had back then?
No fucking clue.
We would have we probably, what's funny is like we probably all would have done something. We probably would all be on like our third or fourth kind of like attempt at a career now. Like everybody that I knew in high school, like the people that are thriving now and then like their 40s, the industries that they're in didn't even exist as graduating seniors, because like we came up like where the internet wasn't a thing when we graduated high school. Like it just wasn't, like, so anything with media, anything with there's a lot that kind of like just got completely disrupted. So who knows?
Jimmy mentioned Bleed American before. I just want to touch on the song If You Don't, because that's like my favorite song from you guys ever since the moment I heard it back in 2001. And it's funny because like, to the extent where I've been known to like look up song meanings and stuff and read all the forums, all the debates about, oh, what's he mean by Ninth and Ash? I think that he's referring to Casey's or whatever. And like, I wonder how much attention you ever pay to that stuff online, people trying to figure out your lyrics and stuff. But the reason I mention it is because there's a pop rock band called Somerset, who may have come across your radar, who are from Arizona. They released a record today and they referenced that song in it, and they're like the first track on the album is something about Night for Ash, and immediately it says that that I miss you in the backing vocals. I was like, oh, I know that reference, and I'm speaking to them later today.
No way.
Yeah, whenever Arizona bands get starting to get noticed, we like we'll take them aside and say, look, like you need to reference us somehow. Like you need to kick back to like,
I'm actually gonna call our lawyer, man. Like that's fucked up. They're stealing our shit. Like cease and desist letter,
No,
the full weight of Jimmy World is gonna come crashing down on the Somerset. I'm just kidding.
I remember looking up to other bands that were like getting, like, wow, those guys went on tour. That'd be so cool if our band could go on tour. So like it is really touching, and it feels awesome to be like whenever somebody from our scene is like recognizing or noticing or mentions us, it's like, oh yeah, cool. I remember I remember feeling like that with being like a younger kid looking up to older bands. So it's a compliment.
And I suppose what's cool as well, because like you're now in a position where you've been that artist for a couple of generations almost now, because obviously Bleed American was 2001, and like here we are in 2025. Like my friend was just telling me that his stepson Luca, like who's like 12 years old, heard the middle and went away and learned it. Shout out Luca, by the way. And obviously the middle's now in the billion club on Spotify. Like it's it must be really kind of gratifying, like to see that that's such a relevant thing still. Question on the middle: is there what's the most random, strangest place that's kind of come across your radar? I suppose there's lots of potential for that.
For me, it's always weird when I get a random like text message from a friend that might be in some random part of the world and there's a cover band playing in the middle and they send me like, hey, check this out, dude, these guys, dude.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard it like at the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
I think the weirdest one like, it's not weird, but it's like when we heard that Prince covered it, that was like, holy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that was pretty wild.
I think that's when you recognize that song is like its own center of like its own it's like in its kind of own little universe. You know what I mean? My son once asked me, is the middle bigger or is Jimmy Eat World bigger? And I struggled to answer that. But it's just one of those songs that kind of has a life of its own, and there are a lot of times where that, like, you know, I think that when Prince covered it, that was like, whoa, that was like the craziest.
Yeah, good answer.
I guess a question more for you, Jim. Your podcast, Pass Through the Frequencies, that we're fans of. Do you think you'll pick that up again? And if you do, like, is there any dream guests to bring on board?
Yeah, I would love to. It started off obviously because we were trapped.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hang out and be, just rap creative with friends of ours. And there's definitely people I'd love to talk to, and the creative process, how ideas arrive, how you form them once you notice that they're there, like that. It's an endless. I'm fascinated by that, so I'd love to talk to more people. It's just kind of like, it's just me doing it, and it takes a solid 10 hours of editing time outside of like the interview and everything. So it's just kind of, I'd love to keep doing it, but it's not totally not sustainable for me to like think of it as like a weekly or maybe even monthly thing. But I definitely have more people I want to talk to.
To wrap this up, guys, we've just got kind of a last song standing thing, but I was just a bit more of a general question, but to you all, like, is there any music or artists that, people who know you might expect you to hate, but you actually kind of like? It's a weird way of phrasing guilty pleasures, I've realized as I asked that, to be fair.
There's probably so many metal bands, Jim.
Yeah. I mean, like, going back to my side stage, right? So we got Limp Bizkit, Papa Roach, Alien Ant Farm. They're gonna be there.
Get Stained on there as well.
Yeah, Stained. You need someone to kind of bring it down and make it chill. So Stained would be good for that. But I'm a big Phil Collins fan. A lot of people hate on Phil Collins, but I think he's fucking awesome. And then, though, I don't know. I can't really think of. Do you guys have any guilty pleasures? Tom, what's your guilty pleasure?
Man, Jim, go for it. If you have anything, I can't think of anything right now. I'm looking.
Sarah Brand might be one. The red dress internet sensation.
Def Leppard.
There's a lot, Def Leppard. There's a lot of like, I don't know if people would be surprised that we like Def Leppard, but we do.
Yeah, I'm sure I read that was an early influence for you, Jim, like when you were super young, one of their songs.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think all of us I think we can speak for Rick too, that like that early 80s, the metal that ended up being on MTV was like some of our first exposure to like hard rock. Like there's maybe the occasional older punk rock kid that would like, hey man, no, check out 7 Seconds, but the most of what we listened to was like, exposed off of like the radio or MTV as kids. And there's definitely a soft spot in that for all of us as adults.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, we were, I guess, from that era as well. Kerrang back in the day, where you probably saw the middle about 50 times in one day. Okay, we'll finish up on this last song standing then. So it's probably a bit difficult to do with all of you. So Jim, will pitch it at you if that's all right. So we're going to chuck a load of Jimmy Eat World songs at you. You've got to pick one to keep, and then you'll end up with your last song standing, if that's all right.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay, so the first two pitching against each other. We've got Lucky Denver Mint or Work.
Oh man, you're really going to make me do this. I'd pick maybe Denver over that. Okay, let's see where this goes. Just first thought, whatever.
Lucky Denver Mint up against Sweetness.
I would take Denver still.
Lucky Denver Mint versus Blister.
Denver.
This is probably Denver.
Denver.
Well, too bad. That's your favorite Jimmy Wales song, Nick, isn't it? I think a Blister, that is. So Denver against Bleed American.
Oh, I think Bleed American might take a little slight edge.
Bleed American versus Something Loud.
I mean, you're always going to be more excited about your more recent things, so probably Something Loud. I would do that.
I've got a couple more. Something Loud against If You Don't.
I would take Something Loud. It might have like the sweep now.
Something Loud versus Pain.
I would do Something Loud for sure.
Something Loud against Big Casino.
Something Loud.
And the last one, Something Loud versus The Middle.
I mean, that's really tough. I mean, just selfishly, I'd say Something Loud because it's newer. You know, not like there isn't more to explore every time that you play The Middle.
Yeah.
But just Something Loud is kind of it's fun because I feel like, I mean, in the context of where we are now, like performing these songs, Something Loud comes up in the set list, and I feel like we have to prove something to people with it. You know, so there's just a heightened more like, you know, just something, you know, like power behind it.
Yeah.
Middle's important, but you're also kind of with you're also getting a whole lot more feedback from the audience, like right away. You know, it's just about like just doing it the best you can, and Something Loud is kind of like we got to win people over. So that's the mindset there.
There we have it. Guys, thanks so much for giving us some of your time. I guess it's lunchtime for you guys. Really appreciate it. Hope the rest of the tour goes well, and I guess we'll see you at Four Chords. I look forward to seeing you in person.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Nice one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Take care.